School. All right, I'm going to start recording and we can get this thing going. All right, we're good to go. All right, if you all want to introduce yourselves first, Adam, why don't you go first?
Yeah, my name's Adam Bros. I'm from Waynesboro, Virginia. I was class 3, and now I go to Coastal Carolina University in Myrtle Beach.
All right, Connor, you want to go next?
Yeah. My name's Connor Rutherford. I'm from Blacksburg, Virginia. Class 4, I guess. And then, now I got the University of Georgia down in Athens.
All right, Isaac, you want to go next?
I'm Isaac Lamprecht. I'm originally from New Kent, Virginia, and I also raced in class 3 through high school, and now I go to Wingate University just outside of Charlotte.
All right. So, if you may or may not know, I'm gonna flex your stats really quick, Connor, but Connor was also an NXR champion in 2023, right? So I'm just gonna put that out there. And then Isaac was also is it 2024 RVA athlete of the year, 2024, yeah. So, and then Adam, you're crushing it anyway. So I'm sure we're going to see some huge things out of you soon, especially with the training you've been going. Not to say you haven't done anything special soon. I just know it's a pop off is due for soon. Mm-hmm. But all right, let's get into this thing. So, first question is it's revolved around mental toughness. As we both know, distance running is it's a huge mental battle as much as it is physical. So when you're in the middle of a hard workout or race or any kind of hard training you're doing, what do you usually tell yourself in those moments, or how do you allow yourself to push through those moments? So Connor, you want to go first?
That's a good question. I've been working a lot with sports psych on trying to answer that question, because it's really easy to just pull back when it starts to get hard. And we've been working on just having one or two words you can say to yourself, so it's not a lot, but just mine is really just leaning into it. So just actively visualizing and pushing into the pain and letting it hurt, but still knowing you have more. So just repeating that whenever it gets hard so I can stay focused.
All right. I like that answer. All right, Adam, you're next.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm looking at, what kind of workout I have for the day, on paper, and, I try not to tell myself that I can't do it. I've surprised myself a bunch of times, practicing. So, I mean, even sometimes if you're not able to hit, the pace in a workout, most of the time just getting through it all and doing, all the distance rather than working on, focusing on pace and stuff can also help that out.
All right. I like that too. So you're more of a in the moment kind of guy. You're not worried about anything else. Just what you have to do, next rep, next set, right? You're not thinking about anything else. Just looking on what do I have to do right now.
Yeah.
Correct?
Pretty much, yes.
Okay. So Isaac, you'll go next.
I think for me, I just try and lean on the guys around me. Since coming to Wingate, it's been a really good group of guys that I've been training with, and if I'm having a bad day or if one of them are having a bad day, we just kind of lead on the group, and somebody else will go first on a different rep, and they'll push the pace, and it really helps everybody push through a workout that maybe they're not feeling the best.
All right. So would you say that you're usually the one pushing the group, or is the group pushing you? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a lot of both. Because like it really depends on the day. You know, I've been like recently I haven't been running very much. I've been coming back from a bit of an injury on the run, and so like it's been good having other guys that can push me in the training, and like it makes it a lot easier when like if I get really demotivated, you know, having somebody else to go out and do a workout with is really helpful for me.
All right. So now, unless you guys want to surprise me, Connor, and Adam don't really have that kind of experience going back and forth between different kinds of racing. At least I'm sure that Connor and Adam have done cross training, swimming, and biking before, but not any kind of to the extent you have done. So, is there any kind of like difference in mentality that you have between them? Like, is this like I don't know. So that's why I'm curious. So is there any difference in that?
I think the biggest difference really is in the pool, because obviously when you're running or when you're cycling, you know, your head is in the air. It's easy to talk, but when you're swimming, like your head is down. Like there's a lack of oxygen. You know, that one's really the toughest for me at least, and that one is really the one that's the most beneficial of having people around you to go with you.
All right. So, and in those transitional periods between your triathlon meets where you have to, there's a specific order that goes with it, right? All the time, every single race.
Yeah.
So that it goes swimming,
cycling,
biking, then running.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay. So in that transitional period, is there also a difference in that where you're thinking about what is my next step? What am I going to do between, like, you know, you get to the end of your swim and you start running up to where you got to get to your, like, the dock where you got to get the bike, and is there like some kind of, you know, transitional thinking where you're like, okay, I need to do this, I need to relock in, where, you know, all of a sudden it's a different kind of movement altogether. It's a different kind of like pacing. So yeah. I'm really just curious. So
yeah, I think it's from when I get out of the water to when I'm getting on the bike. You know, I've gone through this a ton of times. We do it in training a lot. I've been racing for triathlons for 5 years now, I think, maybe more. And so a lot of it is really just going through the motions and staying calm and not getting really too anxious, because it's a lot more of a technical thing in the transitions and being able to reset before going out and doing the next thing.
All right. Sorry, I'm just really curious about it, just because it's I guess it's something that I see myself wanting to do in the future as well, but kind of a long ways away. So we'll see about it. But it's a very fascinating sport, and there's a lot of different elements that go into it. I mean, so I think what you do is really cool. But all right, so we're gonna get a little bit more unserious question here. So I want you to start us off. What is the most ridiculous thing you've ever eaten right before a run that you immediately regretted?
I mean, I think one time I just had like a whole brownie cake. It was in the afternoon. I didn't have lunch, and so it was in my fridge, so I just ate it.
Just a whole brownie cake. That's crazy. All right, Adam. What is the most ridiculous thing you've eaten before a run?
I had there was this one day I was doing a double, and I had eaten dinner before, and I was still contemplating whether or not I was gonna even do the double or just throw it on another day. And I had eaten like an entire plate of like mac and cheese for like a 5-mile double, and it hurt a lot. I think it didn't come up though, but it hurt a lot.
Oh man. So I'm guessing that next day you were like, oh, I probably should have just woke up early in the morning and done the double the next day or something like that.
100%.
All right, Connor. Let's hear it. Let's hear it. What is the most ridiculous thing you've eaten before a run? I know you got something crazy.
There was one time, I think it was summer training, we had just a workout, and I walk up to the track, like, it's just eating a Hot Pocket, but, like, having just a Hot Pocket while we were doing our warm-up was a terrible idea, and, yeah.
So you were just warming up. So is this college or high school?
This was back in high school. Yeah.
Okay. And was your coach just saw you with the Hot Pocket in your hand while you were warming up? You didn't say anything? Like,
he judges me silently. Yeah.
What were your teammates like? What was Jonas like?
Jonas, I think he laughed at it. I know Zach was being critical, and they both witnessed. I didn't throw up or anything. I just felt terrible.
Oh man. Yeah. I've eaten some pretty stupid things before a run. I actually had something really stupid before one time before a state race, and I'm pretty sure in the morning I had those like family size Twix. I'm pretty sure I had like a whole container of those the morning of, but luckily nothing bad happened from it. But I just remember I was like I could probably never do this again ever in my career. So, but anyways, all right. So go back to something more serious. Isaac, you were talking about it a little bit earlier, but have you ever faced any major setbacks in injury or burnout? And essentially, what are the lessons you've learned in that period of recovery and just getting back to some kind of normalcy?
Well, I think this is really the first one that I've ever had to deal with. I've been lucky enough to not ever have gotten injured before, which is honestly a shock because I never really did much stretching or anything for recovery. And so I feel like this is just putting more of an emphasis for me on stretching and recovery after my workouts.
All right. So you're mainly focused on just doing the little things, right?
Yeah.
Doing the things that are not necessarily what a lot of people think will get you to the end result, which is getting back fully recovered, but what's going to add up over time, right? Stretching after practice one day out of a week isn't going to do anything. But if you do it every single day consistently for months and months and months, it's going to add up over time. And you're going to recover a full month before somebody that hasn't been doing it. So that's why I like to tell a lot of high school kids is do the little things, right? Do the things that are going to add up over time. Don't do them, occasionally, because occasionally isn't going to get you anywhere. But Connor, if you want to share some insight on that.
Yeah, like this year, mid-cross, I strained my quad, so right before conference, and I was able to get back by conference, but taking a complete break really threw me off for a while. Even my coach said I kind of got scared and backed away, and so it was a lot of just being patient, and then when I came back for it, I kept looking for something to hurt, even though it wasn't hurting. And so looking for problems, you're going to find something. So when you're coming back, don't be looking for something to go wrong, because that's just not going to help you get back into it.
Yeah. So you think it's as much as a mental thing it is a physical thing? Okay. We had this. I think I had the same conversation with Will Pardue, because he went through some injury his senior year, I believe, and it was kind of like he thought it was a mostly a mental thing rather than a physical thing, just because you really feel unmotivated to do the little things that are going to get you like out of that slump, out of that hole, because they're like, oh, why bother? If I have this, broken foot, then why bother? Why does it matter? And then 6 months passes by and you're like, wow, I could have been doing all these things that could have probably helped me out up until then. So, but Adam, have you ever had any kind of injury or setback or burnout where you're like, I don't know what to do, and what kind of helped you out through that process?
Yeah, so I haven't dealt with any like major injuries. Like I haven't gotten any stress fractures. I haven't like had to take like a lot of time off running at any point. But when I first got back this semester, I was dealing with like a really bad like quad knot like right by my knee, and I was really worried at first because I was thinking it was not like it wasn't a muscle thing. It was more like a ligament thing, and I might have like actually tweaked something. But as soon as I started feeling that, I went and got it checked. And a big thing that I learned from that was to just not be ignorant when you feel something that's not right. Like a lot of us have like really good resources to reach out to, like good trainers and people that'll, take a look at that and actually like want to help you get back out there. So like I would say, for the most part, like if you have like a good trainers at your high school or college, like take full advantage of those people because they're there to help you. And yeah, but other than that, like I had to take some down weeks for mileage, and I was kind of scared, and I was just like kind of wondering, like, is lower mileage going to suit me? Like, and it honestly it doesn't. Like I start feeling a lot more things going on when I'm not running as much. So as soon as I got it cleared up, I immediately started going back to full swing of things. But, yeah.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I can definitely tell. I peek on your Strava occasionally. I just see like consistent, for the most part, 90-mile weeks out of you. I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I could never do that. That is insane. Connor, I think you might be touching that. I think you do probably 70, 80, right? Mostly.
No, I'm like
you do
90 to 100.
You're like 90
race
now?
weeks. We go down to like 80, but regular training
Okay.
we're at like 90, 95.
Yeah, no, you guys are beasts. I mean, I naturally have a lot more speed, so I don't necessarily have to dip into that higher mileage, but like, I mean, it's just it's insane. I tried getting up to 65, 70 occasionally, but I just could tell it just wasn't for me. And that's why I like to tell a lot of high school kids, it's just, you got to figure out what works for you. Like there is so many different scenarios and cases where you can do whatever you want to, and just as long as it fits your body type, it fits who you are, whether you're a speed guy, you're an endurance guy, it'll work out. Like, I mean, you can even be a 10K guy and run lower mileage and it'll still work out. I mean, perfect example is Parker Valby. Like she does like 40, 45 miles a week, but cross trains the rest of the time, and she went to the Olympics for the 10K. So you don't have to necessarily go to that upper mileage. I'd say there's a higher number of guys running faster times at higher mileage, but it's not everything, right? It's not necessarily everything you have to do. So, I mean, it just is what it is. And then there's also 800 guys doing 60 miles a week. Like, so it's just, you got to really figure out what works best for you. But all right, we'll go to our next question. So this question is revolved around embarrassing moments. So every runner has an awkward race or workout moment, or just in general, it could be outside of running all together. What is the most embarrassing running moment or anything else that you've had? So Adam, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I immediately think to senior year states outdoor. We had the 3200 in the morning, and it was a pretty tactical race. I mean, like, I think I ended up getting either third or fourth. I can't remember. And Isaac was in that race too. I think you remember. But it was a little bit cooler in the morning, and I also was in the mile that day, and it was like an hour and a half, maybe at most after, well, maybe like an hour and 15 minutes, and I went and ran like 4:44, like right after it. So we went like 9:39 and closed like pretty fast in that, and then came out in the mile and ran like 4:40. But it was horrible. I think a lot of people had days like that. Like, I'm trying to think. I think
Oh
Jake
no,
Grimmel,
trust me.
Jake Grimmel did something similar.
Yeah, me and Connor felt that exact same thing. We're in the exact same boat. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I ran 4:39 in that meet as well. That was, I don't know what it was. We all did amazing in that 2 mile. And then in that mile race, I mean, I just remember getting to lap 2, and I'm just sitting there running. I'm just laughing like, this is terrible. Yeah. This is just, I don't know what it was. I can't tell if it was the heat or if we all just performed amazing in the 2 mile where our bodies were just shocked, especially after me and Connor went at it in the 4x8 the day before, and I'm pretty sure y'all did the 4x8 the day before as well. So, I mean, that was just, I think it was a combination of both, just giving it the maximum effort in that 4x8 and 2 mile the morning of. But I mean, I remember that, so I totally get you. But all right, Connor, if you want to share an embarrassing moment.
I guess I'd probably say states. I think junior year. That was like the last year we were at the horse track. I forgot what that's called, but we're exiting the track, and I was up front. I was like, I'm gonna be real cool. I'm gonna swing around this tree and try to like leverage myself better in the front. And I ended up I cut my wrist on that tree. I ended up having to go to the hospital after the race. But I was just, it was like, yeah, this is gonna work. In my head, it worked perfectly. And then as soon as I came around that tree, I noticed I was bleeding, and it was embarrassing.
Dang, bro, that's weird. That's not embarrassing. That's just odd right there. That's such a weird moment. Like such a going from such a high to such like a weird thing. You got to go to the hospital afterwards. So, all right, Isaac, embarrassing moment.
I think for me it's got to be the mile my freshman outdoor track states. I don't really remember it too well, but I know it was just my worst race of the season by 10, 15 seconds, and it was just like I crossed the line and I just wanted to leave the meet just entirely.
I think we've all had that moment before. It's especially when you have high hopes going into the race, and then it just like you just sit there. We've all had that moment where we ended a race and we go back to the team tent and we just sit there for 30 minutes just staring at nothing because we're just like we're so disappointed. But I mean, at the end of the day, like it is what it is. You just got to move on. There's nothing you can do about it. So that's what I like to tell people: is past is in the past. It sucks, but you can only move on. Only once you hit rock bottom, you can only go up from there. So, but yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily embarrassing. Maybe it was embarrassing to you personally, but sometimes you just have a bad day and nothing you can do about it. So, but all right. So this next question, it's a little bit of a tricky one because I know that we're all pretty much still young in college, and I don't know if we're going to take 50 years or whatever, or master's program, or I don't know what is up ahead in our careers, because obviously you just don't know what the future entails. But for the general, looking ahead, do you see yourself competing post-collegiately? And is it professional or is it road racing at marathons, even kind of some kind of coaching? What are we looking at, Connor?
Well, after graduating, the goal is definitely to race, but the time's got to be there to do that. So if I'm just not at that level, I'll just, I guess, go out into the workforce and just keep running on my own. But yeah, the goal is to definitely get to that level.
Yeah, it's a tricky question because you just don't know. I mean, you're a sophomore right now. You're 14:02, which isn't bad at all. It's really good comparatively speaking, but obviously it's not professional level. So I'm just trying to get to what if the circumstances are right, then could it be a future? That's what I'm looking for. So, but it sounds like if it's there, you're going to take it. So, all right, Adam, what are we thinking?
I mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to keep running after college, no matter what, whether that's like hobby jogging or if I got fast enough at some point, to further that. But the main goal for me is like right now, I'm trying to get my RSM degree, and I have a minor in sports coaching. So I'm going to try to become an NCAA coach right out of college.
That's cool. What are we thinking? We thinking potential Division I, or are we okay with Division III? Or
I mean, I would like to probably start off definitely with like an assistant coaching job, kind of. But for me, it doesn't really matter about division at that point. But I would like to, at some point coach Division I. But obviously, it takes a little bit of time. You got to know some people. So
that was kind of a bad way to frame it. I meant like, I guess at a bigger school or a smaller school.
Yeah, I would like to coach at a bigger school. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's plenty of Division I schools that are small and plenty of Division III schools that are large, but I just meant bigger or smaller. It kind of was a bad way of wording it. But all right, Isaac, obviously you're a freshman right now. Got a long ways to go, but any kind of information regarding that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think I really have two options because as far as triathlon goes, there's you can go like short course or long course, and I really want to try and go for short course first, and then transition into some long course racing as I get older. But I mean, I think it really depends on where I'm at going out of when I graduate, and we'll see where it goes from there and where my strengths are, and wherever they go, that's where I'm going to go.
All right, so you got to fill me in on this because I know a little bit, but not everything. You were a part of, I don't know if it's exactly what it's called, but was it U20, the USA U20 team for triathlon? Is that the same thing?
Kind of. So the way that it works within USA Triathlon is we have like a Mallow team that you have to hit a criteria for, and then you can get some like a little bit of funding and some gear, and like that really helps with going to races and trying to get a little bit further into a career.
Okay, so but you technically competed nationally, right, for triathlon?
Yeah, I've gone to a few different countries for racing.
That's pretty cool. What was the coolest race you've done?
That's really tough. I mean, I think the one that really, really sticks out the most to me was this past August. I went to Latvia for a race, and that was really nice because that was my first like larger international race, and so that one I had a pretty good result too. So that one really, really sticks in my mind for the favorite one that I've gone to.
All right. That's pretty cool. Yeah, you're killing it what you doing. So keep it up, man. Keep it up. I really hope uh with this little setback that it's not going to hold you back any longer. So, but you're doing some pretty cool stuff. So keep it up. All right. So this is the last question before we give it off to the chat to ask questions. This might be a little controversial one. So I think you guys are welcome to say as much as you want or as little as you want or whatever, if you want to say the story, but you don't want to say names, that's okay. Like just whatever you guys are comfortable with. But what is the weirdest or most annoying thing a non-runner has said to you when they found out how much you run or like what you do for your career, like your technically career or collegiate experience or whatnot? So let's go start with you, Isaac.
I mean, I think a lot of it just falls under pretty much the same category of something that may not be impressive to like most of us is a lot more impressive to somebody who has no background knowledge on running or triathlon in general. So they think, and so like their perception of being of what the speed is a little bit warped, and so I wouldn't really call it annoying, but it can sometimes get repetitive that like they think maybe I'm a lot faster than I view myself as, and it's motivating to know how some people think of it, but it can get repetitive sometimes.
Yeah, no, I think you're definitely true. That's definitely true. It's just it's kind of one of those things where like unless they're actually involved in it, you can't actually tell them or show them like, oh, what do I do on a regular basis and what does it mean to me? And it sucks because some people just don't get it, and I don't think they're ever gonna get it, especially if they're not even an athlete in general and they kind of don't have that mentality to start off with. So, but Adam, if you want to go next, what?
Yeah. So there's not like a lot of things, but I guess one could be like, if I'm just like chilling around like people that, like say for instance, like some of my family members, like my aunt or my mom, for example, like I could just say like sometimes like, I'm tired or like my legs are hurting, and they'll just like, like you need to take a day off or something, but like they don't really understand that, you you can't just really take breaks while running. Like I feel like the more time I take off, which is why I usually take like only like no longer than like a week break after most of like big training cycles or like at the end of seasons and stuff. Yeah, like they just don't really understand that it's not normal just to take off days or off weeks for like a lot of runners like us or athletes in general.
Yeah, I totally relate to that. I agree with that. It's hard to demonstrate that difference between like, oh, how do I tell them that it's not an injury and it's just like a tiredness or something we have to just deal with on a regular basis? And it's hard to kind of like show them that difference between that. So it's really hard. Again, it's something that unless you're actually involved in it, you can't really understand that much. So I definitely relate to that. But all right, Connor, if you want to finish this off.
Yeah, I was just talking about this with one of my teammates the other day because we finished up a long run and there was a group of bicyclists that came by, and so we took like a group photo of them for them, and they like asked us about our run, and we don't know really like we never know what to say when someone asks like, "What was your run?" Because like since it was SEC week, we had a shorter long run, so we only ran like 13, 14 miles, but we did it slower too. So we did it almost 6:50 pace. His coach just said, keep it chill. So they had told us that. They're like, oh, did you run like 6:50, 6:30, like for 14 miles is crazy. And it's just like, it feels weird to just accept the compliment, but like can't say anything else. It's like, yeah, but yeah, never know what to explain or say without sounding like arrogant.
Yeah, that is true. It's also like, it's tough, especially when you have expectations of your own to be better than what you are right now. Because, and I think a lot of us high achievers and like goal-oriented people is that we're always thinking that we might be confident, but we're always not as good enough as we want to be, right? Maybe you guys can speak differently, but I assume, Adam, you're a high achiever, you're a goal-oriented person. I assume that as well as you, Isaac. And so a lot of the time, you know, we run this amazing time or we run this incredible feat and we're like, oh, that's too slow. That's not good enough. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to get me any points at conference. That's not going to get me to a regional qualifier. Like, why does it matter? But in reality, if you go to the average Joe down the street, they would love to be in your position right now. They would have loved to be able to run. I know they would be able to run 8:37 in the 3K, Adam. But to you, 8:37 in the 3K probably isn't where you want to be, right? So it's just about perspective, and it's about how do we appreciate who we are and the people that we are without, I guess, giving off the wrong vibe to other people that it's not that good. When in reality is that good. It's just a different dynamic, right? It's like trying to teach somebody how to drive for the first time. Like, they're gonna make mistakes. They're gonna not be able to park that accurately, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So I hope that makes sense. Maybe I'm just speaking gibberish, but so all right. So we're gonna give it up to chat now to ask questions. So if you guys want to say anything in chat, if ask them questions and whatnot, try to make it as appropriate as possible. Please don't put any stuff you're going to regret saying later down the line, because again, I like to remind people this is recorded, so just putting that out there. But I did have a question sent in already, and maybe this is centered towards you, Connor, but I had Blacksburg XCTF message me and they said, I love seeing this crew of Virginia athletes representing. I heard that coaching might be an option for you for some. Would you consider coaching at the high school level?
I mean, I think high school would be fun. I don't know. I haven't thought much about coaching because I'm always been more of like a just do it and people will like watch and figure it out. So I have a hard time like explaining things. So I don't know if that would fit well for a lot of high schoolers who are coming in and they're new and
All right. Maybe you're not ready to coach that level of immaturity.
Yeah,
maybe you're looking for something a little more mature. It's okay. Maybe one day you'll think about it. Your mind will change or something.
So I figure out what I'm doing.
Yeah. All right, Isaac. I got a question for you. Okay. This probably isn't the most serious, but why not have at it? What is the physical impact of buying 17 honey packets and running a half marathon?
I mean, I don't really have too much knowledge on that. It's probably not very great, but I mean, it really depends on what kind of results you're going for. If you're just doing it for fun, I don't think it's it's really gonna affect you too much if you're doing a little bit of walking in the middle, if you're really trying to take it chill. But if you're really trying to push yourself hard and do your best, you're gonna cramp up probably pretty bad. I mean, because it also really depends on how close it is, but that number is just too much.
Yeah. You guys have to answer this for me because I've never had any kind of honey packets before. I'm kind of like a very natural kind of person where I don't like to like put any kind of external supplements or anything else in my body besides like food and water and maybe a little bit of energy drink, but that's it. So you guys have to answer that for me. But all right, Adam, I got a question for you. And on high mileage, I think you'll be able to answer this well. How do you guys recover after a run that you're already super sore for?
Yeah, so I can put it in, for example, today. Like as soon as I started my run today, my hip was pretty sore, my glutes are pretty tight. So directly after my run, I went to the training room, hopped in the hot tub for about 10, 15 minutes, used a lacrosse ball on my glutes. And my legs were also pretty tanked a little bit from yesterday. Like yesterday was a 19.5 mile day for me. So I got in the boots and I rolled out, stretched. I had the trainer do like a piriformis release on my glutes, and then that was pretty much it. So you just got to stay in the training room. At least I do. I try to stay in the training room. I try to get in there at least once a day, sometimes twice. And you got to eat a lot, man. Get a lot of protein and make sure you're hydrating well. Hydration's key. I'm a big chocolate milk drinker, personally. I have at least a cup of chocolate milk every single day. So.
Wait, really?
Yeah, every day.
You have chocolate milk every single day?
Every single day, at least one cup.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, so. I mean, I'm pretty used to it now. Like, if it's race day, like, I'm not gonna have a cup of chocolate milk the morning before a race or something. But when I'm in the middle of like pretty heavy training block, like I'm drinking a lot of chocolate milk.
Do you know if it has any genuine benefits?
I mean, no, but you get some protein, and then it's just a lot of calories too. So I try to get as many calories in the morning, especially for breakfast as I can.
Hunter says you're secretly a D1 chocolate milk miler.
I have not tried chocolate milk mile yet. I really want to try one though. I think I'd be pretty good.
All right. So we're going to end it on one more question, unless anybody wants to say any quick questions in the chat. This will be for all of us. This is from Ashley, and she says, what has been y'all's favorite race in your career so far? So let's start with you, Adam.
Yeah. So I would say my favorite so far was definitely cross-country conference this year. I went into it with like a really good mindset. I've never been burnt out from running. Like I've always enjoyed running. I never got to the point where I don't want to run anymore. But I knew.
What just?
My good.
Am I frozen or is he frozen?
That was me. All right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, sorry. But yeah, I would say cross-country conference mainly because, I didn't run a PR or anything. I didn't run pretty fast, but that was probably the hardest I've ever had to dig in the middle of a race to try to get a medal first off. And it was just like a really gritty race. And I like cross-country way more. I like racing cross-country. I like the aspect of it. And, being able to go from getting close to 40th place last year to getting all conference this year and earning a medal was, something that I was pretty happy with.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You did an amazing job at that race. So I want to give you congrats congratulations. But that was pretty amazing. But all right, Connor, favorite race of your career, all time, high school, college, unattached.
Definitely had a lot of fun races in high school, just because, not a lot of pressure in high school. Probably my most fun one would be, it was junior year in the mile. It was when I won my first state championship, my first title. We went out in a 2:17 through the 8, which was crazy because we were all like 4:20 or faster milers, and I hadn't broken 4:20 yet, and so I was really hoping it would be that race, and I was just getting itchy. But then we went out and it was 2:17, so kind of glad I didn't look at the clock and see that, because I probably would have been pretty discouraged. But I felt really good at that race. So we ended up closing and ended up running 4:17, which was nice. But my favorite part about that race is coming around into the last 200. I was probably like 10, 15 meters back, and the announcer says, he goes out and he says that it's a 3-person race. And I didn't even think I was in the race until he said that, and that like got me to go. And while I'm coming around the curve, there's a photo of my dad looking like he's about to jump the railing and race me down the last 100 meters. He was just super excited, and that's probably why it's my favorite race, because I finished the race and he was booking it on the outside, trying to catch back up to get to the I don't even know what the area is called, where we like spike up the warm-up area. He was trying to get to there as fast as he could, but that was probably one of my favorite races.
Yeah, I know. I remember watching that. I was there, literally on the fence. That was a pretty incredible race, especially closing in a 1:59. Oh my gosh, that is, ooh, that's what they used to call you in high school, professional closer. Professional closer. You know, I still have just a little bit of beef from that 4x8, but maybe, you know, I'll eventually get past it.
Yeah.
But I mean, good credit to you. So, but yeah, that was a really cool race to watch. But all right, Isaac, you want to close us out for today? What was your favorite race of all time?
That's a really tough one for me. I was always, back in high school, I was always a really big fan of cross country. That was my favorite season, and all of the races were really fun. It was a less serious environment, and so it was I think more potential to have fun. But I'm gonna speak a little bit more out of recency bias. Back in November, I traveled to Ecuador with some of the guys on my team here, and I think I really, really enjoyed that one, just because it was an international race that I was able to race with a lot of people that I knew and was really close with, and that was just a really cool experience for me, because it was right on the back end of the season, and it was a chance for me to show the improvements that I was able to make towards the end of the season, and being able to do that with a lot of the people I was close with was really cool for me.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really amazing, especially traveling that far and like just get an all around experience of just like, wow, this is amazing. I can't believe I get to do that. So, a little bit of jealous of you, Isaac, just a little bit, you know, but, yeah, so I envy the experience of being a triathlete like you do, because it's just, I don't know why I'm so fascinated, but it looks so cool. Like just the different elements of it, right? Like you got to be good at everything, you know. You can't just sit there and train the same thing every single day. You got to go out and, you know, make sure you're diversifying yourself. So But anyways, guys, I really appreciate this one. I think this was really cool, getting everybody on today. I know that, Connor, you're going to have a great conference meet. No matter what happens, I know you're going to give 100% effort. And you're a really good competitor. So I know you have a great conference meet, and especially going into outdoors, we're going to definitely see a sub 14 soon.
Hopefully this weekend, yeah.
Hopefully this weekend. If not, definitely in outdoors. Adam, I know you got some big things up ahead. Do you race indoor conference?
Our conference is over, but we don't have like an official indoor team for like Title IX stuff. So, but I open up in like a couple weeks, and then I'm gonna do the Raleigh 5K. Try to run like under 14:20.
That's really cool. Yeah. No, I think you're gonna hit it. I definitely know. If you believe you can hit it, I believe you can hit it. So I'll be looking out for that. Isaac, keep it up with your triathlete stuff. I'm definitely going to see some competitions out of you in the near future that are going to be amazing. I don't know exactly how officially it works, but I think sooner or later down the line we're going to see you compete in the big stage on the USA platform or even the national platform. So keep it up. But appreciate you guys coming on. I really love this one. But all right, hope you all have a good evening. But anyways, I'll catch y'all later.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.